Hey Jess, so looking forward to chatting with you tomorrow. I am making some videos in advance of our time tomorrow so that you'll have them available to you as you work throughout the next week. So, this is the course that we are going to be publishing, and it is currently, as of right this second, 3 o'clock Central on Tuesday. It is currently still with copy edit. I expect it to be with copy edit through the end of the week, which means that we will not officially have our hands on it until probably Saturday or Sunday. Even still, the shape of it is pretty much exactly the same as the Foundations in STEM Curriculum Development course that is in here. So, as far as working in Elucidat, you really should be able to just make copies of the modules that are there and then update the content and the links. So, with that said, I think the Elucidat stuff is going to be fairly straightforward, although I am also going to send over a video about that. But I did also want to talk about the submission forms. I'm going to have you be working directly with Kyle to get everything uploaded in the system. And that is going to mean that we do also need submission forms to accompany the Advanced STEM Curriculum Development course. So, just a little note: the modules in all of these courses all have 3 assessments. So it definitely follows a pattern over and over and over again. And you can see those assessments, well, they're here in sort of the overview, but they are also down in the modules. They're really pretty straightforward. The first one of them is essentially a file upload where they will be providing evidence of having done something with their STEM Scopes curriculum. The second is interacting with a rubric, which I will show you. And then the third one is a reflection. So building the forms should be fairly straightforward, and there are already forms in here that you can essentially just copy and then rename. So I'm going to work with, and just FYI, the Foundations course is 611 and the Advanced Practices course is 616. So you may hear me say, oh, 616, and what I mean is the one that comes after Foundations. So this is kind of like the baby course, Foundations, and then we kind of get a little bit more complicated in the Advanced Practices. So take a look at the naming convention here. I can already see I wasn't super consistent, but course name and number, or course number, EDGR 611, the name of the course, the module number, and then which task it is. Remember I said there are 3 for every module. So looking at module 4, here's the reflection, here's the analysis, and then somewhere in here, clearly not popping up in any sort of order, there should be a evidence. So let's take a look at, here we go, down here. There's the evidence. Let's take a look at, I'm going to skip to module 2. I'll tell you why. Module 1 has the weird STEM scope stuff in it, so it is not going to be our exemplar. Module 2 of the Foundations course, here and in the STEM scopes, here and in Elucidat, module 2 of 611 will be your exemplar. So let's take a look at essentially the first task. So the name is the same, evidence of application. This is going to be the same in every course. You'll just change the words to whatever is over here on the screen. So like, for example, if I'm building this module 1, evidence of constructivist implementation. So implementing constructivism with your students. And you can use your professional judgment. File types accepted, you can literally just copy that. We will accept up to 5. So I do want to show you something that's going to be new on this project versus the previous one. Sorry, that word just would not pop into my brain. So the styles are embedded in here. So we're going to use this new normal text, even though that's looking crazy, but I'm not going to worry about it. The type of question is an upload. 5 and 5, yes, it is required. And then down here, score points. So if you are keeping notes, I want you to just write down that task 1, the upload, is worth 5 points. The task 2, analysis, is worth 16. And task 3, the reflection, is worth 4. So for every module, with one exception, which I'll tell you in just a minute, you're looking at a total of 25 points. 5 in task 1, 16 in task 2, and 4 in task 3. So once you have all of that information in there, you'll just cancel, or you'll continue. Make sure you save it. Remember, I told you this is finicky in here. So this is what task 1 looks like. Okay. Normally. You'll be creating new ones, so you won't get that message. All right, let's go back and let's look at task 2. So now I'm looking for 611, module 2, because it's our exemplar, task 2, which is the analysis. Okay, so now coming down here to what shows up in the content. This task is pretty complicated. We had to design it in a way that we think makes sense. So what they're doing is they're actually interacting with a rubric, which is here. And so each one of these rows is basically a question. So notice at the top, consider the engaged criteria sparks interest. That is the same as this. So if you were building the submission form for this task, you would change these words to learning is concept driven. You might also change this to constructivism. Actually, you need to. Consider the constructivism criteria, learning is concept driven. The descriptors of this criteria are provided in the columns below. Reflecting on your implementation of constructivism with your students, answer the questions under each descriptor. And so then you'll come in and you will edit these. Check the questions. Was this descriptor evident in your implementation? Type yes or no. And then just make sure that it's not referencing anything that's specific to another task. And then you will replace the verbiage here across the top row with the descriptors in each of these columns. So you can see how we're kind of taking this row and we're turning it on its axis. So now the descriptors are across the top here, and we're just expanding it, okay? This one is worth 4 points. Remember I said this whole thing is worth 16 points. So task 1 is worth 4 points. Task 2, same thing. Question 2, question 3, 4 points. Question 4, 4 points, for a total of 16. So you will be setting that point value on each question. Okay, so if you have any questions about this, Kyle has done this before, and he will definitely be able to help you if you get stuck. Let's take a look at the third type of submission form, which is the one for the reflection. I'm going to find 611, module 2, reflection. 611, 2, reflection. Okay, let's take a look at that. Form elements. All right, so task 3, reflection. You can actually copy the words from here. Reflecting on the challenges and learning, blah, blah, blah. So that's the same exact words as here. Actually, you will need to replace the text here with the text from the content doc. Okay, so those are the 3 tasks in a module, and like I said, they are the same across all of the modules. There's one small exception, and that is going to be in module 1. So if I go back up here to, and you'll get familiar with this, if I go back up here to my course outline, we are doing a required course introduction that is worth 1 point. And the way we got that sort of worked in is we took 1 point away from task 1 in module 1. So as you are setting up the module 1, task 1, instead of choosing 5 points, you'll want to choose 4 points. Do not worry about the verification form. There's one already in here. You should be able to just copy it. I don't even know that it needs to be copied because we might be able to put it multiple places. We can ask Kyle that question. But it just looks like this. It's basically just like, hi, how are you? And then it just plugs into the course. Okay, so with that said, I think I'm going to wrap this video here because it's already going to be over 11 minutes. The main thing for you to remember is that 4 modules, 3 tasks, there should be a total of 12 submission forms for this course. You can duplicate the ones from EGGR Module 2 and then just keep duping those over and over and updating them with the correct point values, the correct naming convention, and then pulling over the right material from the content document. Okay, so that is all for this video.